Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So, every time I start a video I say so, but yeah. This is gonna be, I think it's like my fourth video, for Ethany's, 31 Days of Tarot. And this one, I'm answering questions 15 through 19. And I'm not going to be showing anything or using anything. These are just really questions that that I can just answer for you guys. So I have music playing, so I hope it's not too loud. But it's really funny. So I don't have a tripod or anything. I don't have like a camera. I just have my my cell phone. And I do have a laptop, which is what is right in front of me. I have a laptop with a webcam, but it's like really old, and the webcam is just so dark you can't see anything. So I have my phone taped, so it's right here, like it is taped up here. Like if I move, it's like it was an actual webcam. But yeah, so let's just fix this. Okay, so first question, 15. Why do you usually use tarot? So, I think it's kind of, there isn't just one answer. But for me, the main thing is for guidance, I think. So, a lot of times, I don't even ask specific questions. I'll just pull some cards and ask the deck to just kind of just give me guidance and show me kind of like what I need to know, or just what it wants to show me. I don't really, when I do readings for myself, I don't usually ask questions. Kind of like when you do, well, I don't know, when you do a card a day, you're kind of pulling it for that day. But yeah, just asking for guidance and stuff with no particular question. So yeah, so I definitely say for guidance. Why do you usually pull tarot? And then again, for sure, if there's something like you want to know, like a lot of people, relationship questions are really popular. People want to know their future, but I mean, you can't, like, it's not set in stone and stuff. So like you can kind of give like guidance and kind of like a pre-plan of kind of how things might be going with the direction that it's starting at, but things can change, so so I think that pretty much covers it for why I usually use it. Okay, so question 16 is, how much emphasis do you put on the book meanings? So like, do you read the book for every card? When I first started out, yes, I would, not necessarily the book, but I would use the internet. I would go online. One website I always use, like I still use it today, is Biddy Tarot. It's like the first one that pops up. It's really popular. So yeah, I used to look for meanings through book or internet all the time for the cards. And in a way, I do think it's helpful because a lot of the websites, they have like the meaning of the card, but then they also have the meaning of the card in a spiritual way, in a love relationship type of way, work financial way, health or stuff. Like they have like categories for each each different meaning of how you can interpret that card into those different categories. And sometimes I wonder, like, how can they take like the meaning of what the card means and say, like, well, for work it means that, when it's like a Two of Cups or something. But so So I think when you have a certain question based off of one of those categories, then I think it is okay to kind of get an idea if you're struggling with how to interpret a card that you wouldn't normally be able to read for, like, say if you have a work reading and you pull up a bunch of like the Lovers and Two of Cups and stuff like that, and you don't know how to use those types of cards for the question that they ask, then I think going online and finding the specific meanings for work-related answers, that might be able to help you. But with that set aside, I definitely have had the best readings and been able to connect really well with the cards. Sorry, my nose itches. Oh my god. when I read intuitively. And yeah, so when you read intuitively, you can pick up on, the colors that are in the card. If there's people, then facial expressions. And if there's symbols, what do the symbols mean? What do they mean for you? The atmosphere, like, is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Is it rainy? Are they inside? Are they outside? There's just so much that you can pick up from each card. There's so much symbology. There's, just the meanings that each card has. Once you read those meanings and you look at the card, you'll be like, oh yeah, like that totally makes sense, because, he looks sad, or it's cloudy, and there's the heart with the daggers, and, like, it can just make so much sense. So I feel like, too, once you kind of know the meaning for each card, when you see the picture, you'll be able to pick up those things right away. So that, I think, is kind of like both from learning so much and being intuitive, because you might have picked up on those things before actually finding out the meanings. But being able to connect those two and have it make sense, I think, helps a lot too when you're reading. But I've done readings where I have pulled cards and not used anywhere, like I did not use the reading that the card actually means from the book. Like, it can kind of be like the picture. If like when I see a picture of something and it doesn't mean what the book says it means, what it means to me, or what I feel it means in the reading, in the spread with all the other cards. Because that is one thing that I think is very important. If you're going to read, if you read by the book, it is harder. I feel it's harder to do it as more of a story, like put all the cards together. When you read from the book, it seems more like you're kind of telling, like, this card in this position, this card means this, and then this card means this, but it doesn't really come together as a whole story. And so I feel like when you read intuitively, it is more story-based, and it can be presented better and kind of have more of a flow. I think, like, it can just flow a lot better, and it's kind of like, too, like, when you're, like, when they say, like, when you lie to somebody, you have to remember what you said because you lied about it, so you have to remember what you said so that way you don't lie, get caught in a lie. But when you're telling them the truth, you can just kind of speak from your heart and just say it, because you don't need to go back and remember what you said. You automatically know, it just, I feel like that is a good example for reading intuitively and reading from the cards for how it is, how you would speak about the cards to the client and stuff. So, but in the end, I think both. I wouldn't say either or. I would say reading intuitively first, but with the knowledge of the book meanings. But if you need, like, if a card is not sitting well with you, don't read it as it is from the book. Whatever you feel, whatever comes through, definitely put that first and put the card meanings beside, because the cards, if there's a time where something else comes up for you and it means something completely different, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why this card is meaning something completely different than the book, and so you need to portray that card in that way. Question 17. Do you ever... Sorry, I wrote it down really fast, so it's all messy. Do you ever use the major arcana without the minor arcana, vice versa? That's a good question. And I want to say that I've never done that yet. And I do have a deck that is just major arcana, but it's a really weird deck. I got it for my birthday, and I love it. I think it's a really great gift. I think it's really neat. It's like Tarot de Charles VI or something. Like, it's supposed to be based off of one of the first decks that were created, but it's just the major arcana, and it's just like black and white. Like, it's like reprint on like a canvas paper, so it's really weird. But I do think that, yeah, like a lot of people use the major arcana because that's, I believe it was first made as just the major arcana cards, and then throughout the years, they put in the minor arcana, and, I don't really know the history, but I believe that's how it started, was with just the major arcana. But I wouldn't want to use either or. I think that the deck, was made, with every card, and I feel like if I weren't to use all of them, it wouldn't feel like complete, almost. Unless I was completely, if there was like a time where I was drawn to use just the major arcana, I felt like I have to only use that, then yeah, of course, I would listen to what, I'm feeling and what like I feel like I should do, then totally. But as of right now, my thoughts on it is I would not want to use just one. I would want to use the deck as a whole, because I don't know. I like the major arcana being really big, important things in your life, and then the minor arcana, kind of like the major arcana is like the chapters, and the minor arcana are like the words in the chapter. So that didn't even make any sense. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I would use both. I'm trying to explain a good why I would use both to make sense of it. But yeah, I just think it wouldn't feel whole. It wouldn't feel right. I think for me, honoring the deck, I would want to use all of them. I feel like you wouldn't get like the whole story if you only use parts of the deck. Okay, yeah, so that's all I have to say on that. If you do use either or, it's totally fine. And actually, yeah, if you do like just use a major arcana, then totally comment down below and explain why you do it, and like how the results have been by just using that and stuff. I'd really like to hear that. Question 18. Do you do readings using reversals? Why or why not? Alright, so I have done both. I started out using reversals because I didn't know actually that you didn't have to. I thought like you had, like if it came in reverse, you had to read it that way. But I am more of a fan of using reversals only, like when I first did readings and a reversal came up, I would automatically think of that as negative and the shadow side of what it means and all that stuff. But so I was really stuck on that, like, that whole thing, if it's reversed, it's like bad. And it took me a while to kind of realize how to read it reverse without automatically going to those accusations and stuff. But I feel like if you're shuffling the deck and the backs are where you can use it reverse, or you're not going to know, that if it is pulled reverse, I wouldn't want to turn it upright because I felt like it was pulled reverse for a reason. And I'm a firm believer in things happening for a reason. So yeah, so if it got pulled reverse, I believe it was supposed to be read reverse, and there's a reason for that. But when it comes up reverse, I don't just give the reversal meanings. I will give both as a whole, but focus a little bit more on the shadow side of the card. So like say for I think it's the Four of Coins, where usually it's the person, they're holding on to the coin or stepping on the coin, they're holding on too tightly to physical things. And so, so for that, if it's upright, you're really well off financially. You're very you have the success and all that stuff. You have it all in your hands, but you might be a little preoccupied with work and just more focused on yourself, I think, and obtaining those physical needs, and kind of shutting the outside world away. And you might be not keeping in touch with your friends and family and stuff like that. So using those things as holding on too tightly and shutting out your friends and stuff, and just really being focused on yourself and your work, and not letting loose and just having fun, So I would focus more on those things of it, but still, in a way, it's still good because you are, financially well off and successful within your physical needs and stuff. So yeah, so definitely if you, for me, when I do reversals now, since I've learned how to do it better, is the card, no matter whether it's reversed or not, it still has that card meaning. It still has whatever the card upright means. But every card has a balance. There is a positive. I wouldn't say there's like a negative, but there's like a balance. There's a scale. There's a shadow, and there's a light side to each card. So when it is reversed, still talk about the card as what it means, either by book or intuitively what you're picking up, but making sure that you give light to the shadowness of the card, if that makes sense. Okay, question 19. Do you feel a connection to your cards? For me, I think I have a total of 10 split right in 5 Oracle and 5 Tarot. But there are some that I definitely feel more connected to, and I think it kind of just, it just depends. Like my first Oracle and Tarot, I'm always going to feel connected to it because it was my first. So, like your first time having sex or whatever, you're always going to remember that and stuff because it has special meaning. So I think for that reason, yes, I'm always going to feel connected to my first sex. I think, yeah. I think for myself, I think for everybody, there is a connection, but I think it's on a scale level. I think it's how much. You could have very little connection, or you could have tons, be really connected, bond, and Jack will be your best friend. I don't think it's an either yes or no if you feel connected. I think there is a scale for how much you are, because I think everything resonates like an energy, and you can just vibe off of it. So I feel like there is going to be some sort of connection no matter what, just the scale of the connection, how much, and stuff like that. So but right now, my Witch's Tarot deck, that is the only one I have that is, most of all my decks, they are based off of Rider-Waite, but the Witch's Tarot, it is the only one where it really looks exactly like a Rider-Waite deck. The images, they're more photorealism, so that is different, but almost to a T, like they are exactly alike. So I tend to use that a lot for more of learning, I guess. And then when I see those images, I'll think of like the Rider-Waite, and I'm like, oh, boom, I know exactly what those mean. So I have been using that deck a lot more because it's more easier for me to use the cards for reading. And in that way, I have connected to it in that sense as a learning purpose and as it just coming easy to me. And then my Fountain Tarot deck. So that deck's lovely. The box, the cards, it's just beautiful. But when I first got it, I was so excited because one, it was my most expensive one that I have gotten, and I really wanted that one, and everybody, like raged all about it. But the images, okay, so the images, they are beautiful. I really love the artwork. But how I learned, I couldn't really see the Rider-Waite images in all of them, so it was harder for me to learn. And so when I would do readings, I would feel really stuck and just not like focus more on the card's meanings and letting the intuition flow. I think like that hindered because I couldn't connect right away with the images of what I was feeling for it. So with that, I had a hard time connecting only because it wasn't easy like the Witches one is. But now I am more connected to it now. But there's still that I just I think I have to work with it more to kind of understand the images and stuff. But it's really cool. I did a deck interview, which I think everybody, you should totally do this with your cards. If you have a deck that you aren't feeling connected to, do a deck interview and find out how that that deck is and how it's gonna work with you. And so for the Fountain Tarot, for me, it's kind of like that friend, like that you've had in your life that you've met in like elementary school. They've always been there for you, and they're not afraid to tell you, like that dress looks ugly on you, or your makeup is not on point that day or something. So, they're kind of going to give you that hard truth, like they love you and they're not going to let you walk out of the house with like food in your teeth or something. But yeah, that is the vibe that the Fountain Tarot gives for me. And so I think maybe I was just really caught off guard by that, and it wasn't like fluffy flowers and like I don't know how to explain it, but but yeah, so I think there's a connection to all my decks, just depending on how often I use them or why I use certain decks for certain things, kind of puts them on that scale of how I connect with them. So it's questions 15 through 19, and I will do some more questions on another day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you would like to do the Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot, check out my first video of this, and her link is down below so that you can go to her page and find all the other questions. So have a good day.